You are listening to the Whole Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Latrice Folks Jones. I help female entrepreneurs build their businesses holistically with systems while loving themselves more each day. Juggling family, business, your health, and well-being is not always easy, but it's possible. The Whole Boss Podcast is a healthy blend of holistic living, entrepreneurship, personal development, and realness to keep you moving forward in your life and business. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Whole Boss Podcast. Let's just call this season 2 of the podcast because I took a pretty long break. I'm super excited to be back. I decided to kick off this season with an interview I did a while back for the Transformation Summit with Alison Palmer called 3 Ways to Heal Your Relationship with Time to Transform Your Business. So I talked about learning the symptoms that shows that you may have a toxic relationship with time, discovering the underlying cause of your battle with time, and learning some easy remedies to heal your relationship with time. So this season of Whole Boss is all about making the most out of our time for more joy, better health, and more profit. So we're going to get it started with this episode. So let's get into it.
Welcome everyone to the Transformation Summit. We are wise women together rising for embodied change. I'm Alison Palmer. I am your host, and I am thrilled today because I'm speaking with Latrice Folks Jones. Now, you can read all about her below in her full bio. Please do, because then you'll get a really good picture of all that she's been doing and all the juiciness that she has to share with the world. To introduce her very briefly, she is the CEO of Whole Boss LLC. She's got over 25 years of experience of holistic living and personal development and entrepreneurship, if I can say it, to share with us. And what I really love about her bios, you can read her bio, and the journey that she's been through is that she's actually very upfront about saying that she got to a point of burnout, and that has made her just rejig everything that she does so that she can really help other women all over the place, all over the world, really address how to create businesses that are truly what they love to do without having all of the stuff going on like burnout. So this is going to be super exciting, and a really massive welcome to you today, Latrice.
Yes. Hi, Alison. How are you doing? I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. Yes.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward to this because I just want to read the title out to, the topic. I won't remember it, so I want to read it. So 3 ways to heal your relationship with time to transform your business. And wow, that is so important. I mean, time, we take it for granted and then everything goes crazy. So actually, I would really love to start with just knowing a little bit about how this became an important issue for you in your own entrepreneurial journey, because we're all about transformation in this summit, and the time element we can push it to one side, and I feel that it's such an essential thing that we are cognizant of. So let's hear a little bit about your journey and how it became such an important issue.
It became an issue because I never felt like I had enough time. I always felt like I was being pulled in so many different directions. When I owned my last restaurant, I was a single parent when I started. I have since, remarried, but I was a single parent, trying to juggle my children, trying to juggle the business, trying to run a restaurant, trying to deal with all of the different aspects of business, because I was like I had a team, but it felt like I was still like a one-woman show because all the responsibility fell on me. And just everything that you're trying to do, it's like I never had enough time. I never felt like I was getting things done. Like, how it feels like you're like working and doing things and nothing actually gets done. So I really had to take a step back and look at what was happening, like what was going on with my time. Why was I not getting things done? And I looked at it and I was like,
okay, I'm always, first of all, I'm always running after this thing, or I'm trying to be here at a certain time. I'm trying to be on time. I'm trying to get this done. But have I actually taken time to really like tap in to see what I need and actually go with flow and tap into the flow of time instead of like working against it? So but it really was like I just felt like I was all over the place and I wasn't getting anything done. So that is what happened with my time situation. So.
Yeah. And I know that so many of us can really relate to that. So are these the kind of symptoms? I mean, those are really important things that you've mentioned for yourself. Are there any other symptoms that people might experience in their entrepreneur? I can't say that word. I'm going to say business journey, in their business journey, so that maybe they haven't, like I said at the beginning, we might not even realize that it isn't a time thing. So are there any other symptoms?
Yes. Okay, so again, okay, you're never on time. That's a symptom. You feel like there's never enough time, constantly procrastinating, always busy but never gets anything done. Those are the main symptoms of realizing that maybe you need to you might have a toxic relationship with your time. Those are a few of the things. I'm sure there could be a few more,
Yeah.
but those are the main ones.
It's so funny, isn't it? I hope that procrastination is one of those, because you kind of think, well, if you're always up against time and never have enough time, why on earth would you procrastinate?
Well, first of all, you have to get to the bottom of why you're procrastinating and stuff like that. You have to ask yourself a few questions like, why am I procrastinating? So you have to dig into if there's a fear there, if there's like a health situation there going on, like you don't have enough energy. Maybe you need to work on your energy from a physical standpoint, or you're not getting enough rest, or it's something that you really do not want to do in your business. Maybe it's time to hire that thing out, or maybe it's time to think of it in a different way so that you can, address it in a different way so it doesn't feel like drudgery. But a lot of times, the other thing is actually adding a level of respect to your time, having integrity with your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it, and that sounds like kind of harsh, but in essence, that's what we have to do. We have to start speaking the words that we are saying. And we're not going to do it all of the time, but I'm just saying, being like at a conscious level of like, if you say you're going to do something and you maybe miss the deadline or something like that, acknowledging that and, getting back to it. Or if you set unrealistic goals for yourself, then reevaluate those things. And the other thing is not judging yourself so harshly that it makes you not be able to move forth and you're like, oh my gosh, I just don't want to do anything. Or you start taking it as it's you. Like, yes, we have a responsibility to do different things, but your time is not you. You know what I'm saying? You can make changes to do better at your time. Just because you're late and stuff, that doesn't mean you're a terrible person. You're a bad person. You're a bad business person. It's that you have to separate that from yourself and really evaluate, what are you doing? Like, what is the problem? Because there is an underlying issue underneath it. So it's either usually integrity, it's either some type of a fear that you're moving forward, or physically you may not really be able to do it. You may be like burnt out, your adrenals may be tapped out. So like really just looking at what's going on with you.
You've raised so many important issues there, really important. And one of the things also that came up for me ties back to your own story when you were saying how you had a team of people, but it always felt like it came back to you. So, when you people might think that, okay, well, if I can delegate this and delegate that and delegate the other, that will solve everything. But clearly what you're inviting us to consider is that if you haven't addressed and identified those underlying causes, even if you get a team, you're still going to be repeating the same issues.
Yes. Or if you're like me, like one of those people who hire people, but you still do everything anyway.
Yeah.
Like You have to look at those like personality type things, and like you really do have to like do some introspection and look at what's going on. Like, and you can't be afraid to look at it instead of blaming yourself, blaming other people and stuff. Just take a look at it and like, oh, okay, I do this. Like, how can I do this a little bit differently? How can I more effectively delegate? How can I put like systems and processes in place? So that means that there is probably some work that you definitely some work that you need to do before you hire and bring other people on, because that's going to make it better. Just hiring people willy-nilly because you don't want to do anything, let me make that clear, is not the thing to do, okay? Because it's not going to really work out the way that you need it to work out. You'll wind up, wasting a lot of time and a lot of money, trying to do it that way. So
yeah, and from what you're saying as well, what strikes me is that using that hiring to delegate different tasks out to people as a really good example is that somebody might say, or you might read or see on a training or something, yes, what you need to do is build a team and delegate all these things, as if it's like ticking a box, and
yes,
that it's just putting on a switch or something like that, so that, oh yes, done that, without realizing that it's actually a process and that there's stuff to learn, and you might need guidance, you might need a mentor in that process, because stuff comes up whilst you do that, as you just explained.
yes, absolutely. Yes. So, but I feel like we have the power to shift those things. And again, the first thing is to like get real with yourself and see what's going on with your time. Like, why are you here? Like, once you look at the symptoms, like, oh, okay, I may have like a toxic relationship with my time. Like, how can I make this better? I can't tell you the amount of people that I know, like their time is terrible. And then I ask them, like, what do you feel is going on? I'm just tired. Or they don't really want to do something. Why are you doing it? I know there's certain things that we have to do. I say have to do, but really you want to shift the language around that, like, and get to do. Who's that? Tony Robbins, who talks about like, shifting that language around it, like, what do you get to do instead of what you have to do? So it doesn't feel like such a chore, especially if it's something that you really need to do to grow your business, or there may be an alternate way that you can do that feels more in line with you. The key is really getting into alignment with who you are, and really tapping in, and things go and flow. If it's like too difficult, I'm not saying that everything is going to be easy, but if it's like really like pushing against you, maybe there's another path, or maybe there's something else that you really need to be doing, so you have to look at all of those things.
Yeah, I really appreciate that differentiating between something you have to do and changing it to something you get to do, because I feel that as women, and as women who are really passionate about making a contribution for transformation out in the world, there can feel like there's an enormous pressure, an enormous responsibility, and you've got all this sort of, oh my goodness, this is so important, I just love doing it, and I've got to get it out there. And it's almost like, well, you've got 24 hours a day, you've got 7 days a week, so how much more of that can you squeeze to this really important thing? How many more responsibilities can you take, because you're a woman and that's what you're meant to do? And actually, that is such a toxic relationship with time, as you said. And when you were talking about have to and get to, I think this really connects in with the responsibility issue that a lot of women feel as carers. So my generation now, we often find that we have our parents to help or care for or whatever. And I know that when I switched to helping my mother, who is, elderly and needs support, I got into a have to mentality, and it was so draining, and I felt like I had to give her the amount, the most time I could each week. And I went into complete exhaustion. And when I
Yes.
switched it into, wow, how amazing I get to spend this time with her. And,
Yes.
and I need time for myself as well. So
Right.
let's shift this. And the whole thing changed. So I really love
Yes.
that you've brought that up. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. I've had to do that many times.
Yeah.
Like change my perspective of what it was that I was doing, you know. And I mean, just like chores and stuff that you really like, you know, cleaning and stuff like that. Like you could turn on some music and start dancing and having a good time as you do it, and it makes it more enjoyable, or the time just pass away because like your main focus is not on that thing that you may not like doing as much, or just learning how to enjoy it. I love washing dishes. Like my best ideas come when I'm washing dishes now for whatever reason. It's like, so I have a dishwasher, but I still actually just wash dishes because it's like, oh, it's like a reflective time. I don't know what it is. It really works for me. So like finding those chores that may be mundane and things that you don't really want to do, and just shifting your perspective on it is definitely going to help.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So so how can we change our relationship with time? Let's look at that more and some remedies for this.
Okay, so some more remedies, basically to changing that time is like after you discover the underlying cause of your battle with time, um, look into things like setting boundaries. Boundaries is definitely a biggie, you know, setting boundaries and learning that beautiful word, no. No, no, no. Like if you can't do anything or you really do not want to do something, then learning how to say no, you know, setting boundaries on your time, you know, because people will take up all your time. Like you're doing something, or you have yourself focused and you're getting in flow, and then somebody calls you. So you may not need, if you're in the flow state and like say you're trying to do some writing for your blog or for something like that, then take the phone out of the room, you know, take the phone out of the room, give yourself that time. And I know you feel like, oh, there's emergency, you don't know what's going to happen. Block you off some time, check your phone, like you could take a break, check your phone then. But like when you have those times that you're in flow, like actually like be in flow, be focused, you know, and focus, you can't have a lot of other things going around. So that's one of the things right there. So setting boundaries and, you know, allowing yourself to actually focus on things to get them done. Because like when you're multitasking, and I felt like I was the queen of multitasking. Okay. I was like, it really, I felt excited, like, ooh, guess what? And then I would brag about it. I was cooking, mopping, talking, feeding the children, doing all this at one time because I am the superwoman. You know, I was proud. It was like a badge of honor, but like, it's like, okay, that goes into burnout. Okay, you could do some things at the same time, but if you like need a lot of brain power and stuff like that, sometimes you have to like just put yourself in a space and focus on that. And you're like, oh, well, nothing comes. Like I'm sitting there and my mind is blank and stuff like that. Well, you can do like a few inspiration things, but I found like when I do inspiration things, I get caught on a rabbit hole, and then I'm like all on the internet looking at different things, and then I don't get the actual thing done. So maybe if you break that up in a time that you do some research and inspiration, make some notes, and then like have a separate time that you're actually doing the thing that you're doing, because it's definitely going to take focus. Focus is going to help you to actually get those things done and not multitasking. So making space. So that's the other thing, is scheduling time for things that you need to do. So I schedule everything, you know, I put it in my Google Calendar. First of all, the way my memory works, I got to write it down. Like, and I just write it down because that takes away less brain power and stuff like that. And I allow Google to, you know, keep me together, and I could just glance at my calendar. So scheduling everything also helps. And scheduling everything helps you to really see what you have in front of you, because if you're looking and you don't have a schedule, then it's hard to see, you know, like what's really going on, like what you may need to get rid of or delegate and things like that, because you're just like living like, oh, okay, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this. So yes.
Yeah. I just want to pick up on some of those things.
Okay.
Scheduling, brilliant. I love that. I also do that because otherwise I would just be going to what something you spoke about right at the beginning, being busy, but not actually getting stuff done.
Yeah.
So thinking at the end of the day, well, what? I haven't done all these things that need to be done, but I've been really super busy and I can really easily go into that. So, scheduling is fantastic. And social media, I think, is like such a seductive thing for so many
Yes.
people. You can easily just feel that, FOMO thing on there. So do you have any suggestions for people who have FOMO big time and it eats their time up?
Oh, like looking at what other people are doing and feeling
Yeah,
like you're trying to do all the things
out.
that everybody else
Yeah.
is doing.
Yeah.
Find your thing. You know what I'm saying? Find your thing. And when you find your thing, do your thing. Stop trying to do everything. Everything that goes into the multitasking thing, trying to just do it all, be everywhere, do everything because you feel like you need to be everywhere, especially if you're a solopreneur. A lot of people have teams and stuff. They have people writing their content. They have people recording their content. If you're like a person that's doing most of it yourself, then you will actually get more done. You will have more of an impact if you focus on 1 to 2 things at a time. Focus on a social media platform that your people are hanging out at, that you enjoy, like a contact form that you enjoy, like, everybody's like, oh, well, do videos, but now you could do audio. You could do a podcast once a week. No, sorry. You can do a podcast once a week. You can focus on your thing. And FOMO is like, oh, just looking at other people. Like when you tap into yourself, it's like tapping into like who you are and loving who you are and being that person and focusing on your strengths. And if there's something that is not a strength and you want to learn and you want to like like build that muscle, you can do that as well. But the whole key is like, don't try to be everywhere doing everything and stuff like that, because a lot of times you don't see what teams and what things other people have in place, and again, setting up those systems and stuff like that. You can set up your own systems and you can operate like you have a team of 4, 5, 6, 7 with organization. And what one of the main things I was going to get to is like creating habits, rituals, and systems. I call it whole boss hours, habits, rituals, and systems, HRS, to like get more things done, so once you deal with those underlying real causes and stuff, like setting yourself up for success with, those things.
So what did you say? Habits, rituals, and
habits, rituals, and systems. Habits, rituals, and systems. Yes.
So my experience of working with people who are dealing with a lot of these issues is that they're very reluctant to put in the time to set up systems or to put in the time to change habits. So how do we get through that obstacle that we set up for ourselves?
Doing a little bit at a time, like you do one little habit at a time, what they call I forgot the guy name, but atomic habits, or tiny habits, BJ Fogg, like just one little micro habit. Like for instance, I used to lose my keys all the time. I used to lose my keys all the time. I could never find my keys and it would make me late for things. Again, you got to do that thing, figure out what it is. Like, why can't you keep up with your keys? First of all, I had these big purses and I had a whole bunch of junk in my purses and I couldn't find it. And I wouldn't put my keys the same place. So I began to consciously like, oh, I'm going to find a place for my keys. I'm going to put my keys there all the time. And then I thought of where was the best place to put my keys. So I got one of those little hooks and I hooked the key onto the outside of my purse so I could always see it. So, and I got into the habit like, okay, no, do not put your keys down, put it on a hook. So when you're ready to go, then you have it. So it's like, that's a very tiny habit, but I can't tell you the amount of time that, I saved, and I just kept doing that same thing over again. I found a place for it. I put it on there. Each day I did that, and it became a habit. I don't have to think about it anymore, because that's what I do now. I put it there. I also got rid of my big purse, at some point. I don't have a big old gigantic purse with a bunch of stuff in it. I carry like a little, oh, it's right here. I have this one little wallet that has everything kind of like on it. So that was one of my things as well too about the time, is getting rid of clutter. When you have too much clutter, too much stuff, and you have to like waddle through all this stuff to get things done, it's a lot. It's a lot on your conscience. It's a lot physical, like it's just too much. So clearing clutter and getting rid of stuff, and getting more streamlined, keeping it more simple is going to help you, with your time as well too. So
yeah, and that's not something that people think about when they think about time, because they think, oh, there's all this stuff that needs sorting out, and that's going to take even more time.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to go to, that's going to be for next year, because I'm not doing it now. I just don't have the time. And actually, it's not just, it doesn't just clog us up in terms of what we're able to do right now, but energetically, it becomes like this enormous drag and a weight. So, yeah, and I've got a question coming, which is about, it comes back to the boundary thing and setting up new systems. How can we actually, what is the easiest way that you could recommend? Let me say that like that. When we're thinking, okay, I still want to do this, but today I've got to work, I've got so much to do today. I'm going to finish, at 8 o'clock this evening, and then I've got to cook dinner, and then I've got to do this, and then I've got to do that, and then this, and that. And tomorrow I've got so much to do. And so how do we actually, I know you said start with a little thing, and that's, I really appreciate that, but how do we actually address this so that we make really lasting changes that are really significant for us, and we don't procrastinate on it, we don't keep putting it off, because so that we're not dealing with just the small things initially, but we can actually achieve something that's really impactful on us.
Well, the first thing is when I'm speaking to like fellow women entrepreneurs, especially female entrepreneurs, is making yourself a priority. Making yourself a priority. Get yourself together, get centered before you tackle anything else. Even the kids, all of those things, and I know it can be difficult if you feel like all of your time, they're up at the break of dawn, they're up to till it's time, like way later than they need to be. But that goes with boundaries, like, giving them a bedtime and getting them in the habit of having a bedtime, getting yourself in the habit of getting up just a little bit earlier, or like if you can find your pockets of time, because sometimes they're school age, and when they're at school, then that's when you work and stuff like that. You have to find your time. There's certain times in our life that it's just going to be a little more chaotic. When you have little babies and you have stuff going on, and you happen to have a business, and you may have a mate and all of that kind of stuff, and you have a lot going on, you're just starting your business, so you really don't have a lot of different systems in place. So I always tell people, I have a framework. I wasn't even going to talk about this, but basically it's like you clear it. So number one, you clear things, you get rid of that clutter, you figure out the things that you can get rid of that are like just really overwhelming. So either you're going to delegate it, either you're going to actually clear the clutter, get it out of there, sell it, give it away, whatever you're going to do with it. And start simplifying things, like finding ways that you can simplify things. The next thing is to plan it. So planning is very helpful. So when you create a solid plan, then you can kind of see the steps of what you need to do to get to where you need to get to. So I have like a lot of different planning things that's like, okay, I'll like brainstorm. So it's like chaotic at first, and then I'll organize that and put it into like action steps, daily action steps. And then I'll see where I can make some of those things into habits, things that I can do over and over again, so that it becomes like second nature. You don't have to think about it anymore. So then you have things that you want to think about. You like, so I use that like rituals and stuff that you really want to tap into, because rituals are like habits because you do it over and over again, but it's more intentional. It's more like you're more tapped into it. And I like to do rituals and things like when I'm doing things like for my physical health or mental health, things like that. I like to like be intentional about that. But there's some things that I like to put on autopilot, like, doing healthy things like drinking a green smoothie every morning, drinking enough water and stuff, because that's things that we really need to get in every day. And if you have to think about it, you may not do it, so like the more that you can like just cause that in the habit that, just works on autopilot. But so what is it? Clear it, plan it, do it. And, so that's actually like doing the thing. Like you make the plan and you actually check off each thing. And the way that you actually get that done is with the focus. You're focusing on, creating that task, and focus on that until you get that done, and if you get stuck, ask yourself, why are you getting stuck? What do you need to make this thing happen? Like, what is it? So just those things, and redo it. So that's like the habits and the rituals and the systems, things that you can do over and over again. So that's basically what I suggest for people, is getting rid of the clutter, creating a plan, focusing on one thing at a time. But you already have the big plan. So it's not like you're focusing on something and you don't know how it's connected to everything else to get things done. You have a plan, you can see the big picture, and then redoing it, like putting those systems and habits and rituals in place so that you can like, it becomes autopilot, or it becomes something that you look forward to, that's grounding, that's connecting, and things like that. So
wow, I love that. That's really powerful. I can feel how your passion and your enthusiasm and your wow, like this, yeah, it felt like, wow, yeah, this is
you
really
can do it. You can do it.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
so that's brilliant, because you've really given people so much in this, in this short time together, and you've got so many different things that everybody can put in place. Latrice, I know that you've got some gifts as well to share with people, many people will want to know, okay, well, what's the next step with you? So would you like to say something about them?
Yes. So basically my gift is I have a training and a kit, I call it like a self-love kit, but it's like it's a training kit. It's called the Magic Morning Makeover. So, to create better mornings, like I said before, like making yourself a priority and starting your day with you, like, so that you can get grounded, you can get energized, you can get clear, so that you can move through your day. So that's what this training is. And it's a step-by-step video training to make your magical morning. It has recipes in it for you to start your day off with energy and flow. There's a printable love hour success journal. So I like to have a love hour. If you can do a full hour, I mean, sometimes it have to be a love 30 minutes, I love 15 minutes, but it's just like a process that you do, that you're making yourself, the priority when you first start. So learn how to become a powerful manifester in there. We talk about that in that training, and tips to beat morning sabotage and stick with your new daily routine ritual. So that's one of the rituals. So it's intentional and things like that. But I have a few habits thrown in there as well. But it's a great training. So that's my free gift to y'all.
I have trouble with that word too. So, okay, so that's fantastic. That's an amazing free gift. And then you've got something as well, if people want to go the next step with you from that.
Yes. So the next step is basically my Whole Boss Academy. So my Whole Boss Academy is for female entrepreneurs who want to build their businesses holistically. So whole stands for wealth, health, and optimized living every day. But basically, like taking care of your whole self while in business, because a lot of times we're not taking care of ourselves as we're moving through it, because we are the most important asset of our business, especially like a brand, like we're the face of the brand. We have to take care of ourselves, and there's so many different things that we manage as female entrepreneurs and family and trying to keep ourselves together that we need those things to work holistically and stuff. So basically the Whole Boss Academy is a holistic program to help you simplify, organize, and automate your life and business, and it's using our Whole Boss Hours method. So
Wow.
yes, that's what
Wow. So those are both really amazing. And everyone, the links are here below on this page. So if this is speaking to you, that's the place to go. Patrice, this has just been so fantastic and really enjoyable and really, really practical as well, which is brilliant because, everyone has an issue with time, almost all of us. In fact, if you don't have an issue with time and you're watching this, let us know.
Yes, please. Yes, because I don't want to sound like I have problems still too. But like if you do those things, you can, get ahead of it. I feel like these past times, like nothing is just like, oh, well, you could just do this and be the most productive person ever. And you're not going to have things like wrenches thrown into your plans and stuff like that. So one of the key things is to stay flexible, as we have realized, me and you, stay flexible and also forgive yourself. Keeping forgiveness at the forefront of like when you don't get something done that you really wanted to get done and things like that. We have to like soothe us. I'm not saying enable yourself and you just always telling yourself and you never get anything done. But, a lot of times we have to like forgive ourselves for not being this image or this thing of who we think we're supposed to be, so yeah.
Yeah, really, really good points. I'm so pleased that you brought those in. And what came for me was like ditch Superwoman.
Yes,
fitting that out. I'm so excited about the idea. Ditch Superwoman. So really brilliant. And so everyone, we love to hear, what's this sparked off in you. We really love to know how this is connecting with you. If you've had ideas pinging about, or you're feeling really inspired, or you think, wow, I'm going to do that. We would love to know. We'd love to hear from you. So you can just reply, send me an email to any of the summit emails, okay, and say it's in relation with Latrice's interview. And anything that you pass to me, I'll share with her as well, so that she gets to know about it. And that way we keep all the connection and the energy moving and flowing. And, that's what we're about as wise women. So, we genuinely love to hear from you. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. And Latrice, just a massive final thank you to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
If you're ready for more clarity in your business and to set it up to have more time, energy, and profit, then download my free Biz Starter Kit at wholeboss.com/starter kit.